Greetings, Brutal Planet. We are live today for a special interview with Mr. Mark Zonder of the band Warlord, formerly of Fate's Warning. And what is it, A to Z, the other project?
Yep. With Ray Alder from Fate's Warning singing. We did 2 albums, and we'll be doing a third. And yeah, just trying to keep busy.
Yeah, man. Well, just to also kind of give a little bit of background, like you and I have known each other for quite a while.
Well, yeah.
And you and Brian as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think Brian goes before you.
I was going to say Brian knows you more long.
Dustin, I can't hear you. I can hear Mark, but I can't hear Dustin.
Really? I don't know why that would be.
Check 1, 2.
Can you hear me?
And before,
hold on, let me do this. Well, it shows that my mic is lighting up, so I don't know if that's if you go to your
goodness gracious
settings, there's a settings bar where you should be able to choose your audio and your speaker or your headphones. But anyway, man, yeah, like so our kids basically played soccer together, but Brian knew you as a fan before even that.
I can't hear him.
Can you hear me now? Brian, try, like, if you need to, try, like, sometimes this helps me, like, reboot your browser and log on again. Like, just close your browser and log back in. If you can't, or you can go to the settings tab, because I know my mic's working. I can see it.
Well, I can hear it too, so.
Yeah. Mine has like in the settings tab. So there should be a gear too, Brian, at the very bottom. There's like a little gear icon, and if you hit that, it'll show you, like, you can bring up the settings and there's an audio tab, and it should. Oh, he can't hear me, so.
At the bottom where the gear is, supposedly, Dustin's saying there's some kind of audio thing in there,
and you can choose your speaker.
You can choose your speaker.
And so just like if you go to those settings, a lot of times, sometimes what happens is maybe one of your audio feeds is on a wrong thing, or
he suggested just a complete reboot.
Yeah, or just
so let me jump out and jump back in.
Yeah, do that. Reboot your browser.
It usually works.
Okay, yeah, let me jump out and jump back in then. Because
I've actually
working before while we were talking. So hang on, let me jump back in.
I've actually had that problem myself before, where his computer looks like it's frozen too.
I think he just froze now, or he's really good at just sitting there.
He was actually a mime. Like a little known thing about Brian, he's
pretty good at it.
Okay, hold on, remove that.
Just heard you, Dustin.
You can hear me now?
Then I didn't.
Can you hear him?
That's so weird because there's 2 instances of you now.
Can you hear him or no?
No, I can't.
You're on the stage twice too.
You want to knock the whole thing down and start over? Or?
I would say tell him to, like, completely close his browser if he didn't already, and log in again.
Browser
and log in again to the.
And then log in again. There he went.
See, it's weird because when he's logging off, there's 2 versions of him on the stage.
Now it's going to be 3.
Yeah. It's weird because he logged in and everything was fine.
Yeah, but then when you went, whatever you went to, when you went to the recording, is there some kind of setting that you have to open up your mic to him, or you just no?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely going to want to recut this though. And cut all this shit off the beginning of the interview. Well, let's while we're waiting for him. Yeah, see, like let me do this. Maybe he can log back in. Let me see if I did like a kick guess thing. So if he reboots his computer, anyway, we won't worry too much about that. So anyway, while we're waiting for Brian to log back in, tell me, I've always actually been curious about this, knowing you as long as I have. I've never even asked you about this. Like, how did you get into drumming, man? Like, what? There he is. Hold on a second. Let's see if it works now.
Okay, I can hear you, Dustin.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. How about Mark?
And I can hear Mark.
There you go.
Okay.
So I could have fucked with you and went.
That'd be so wrong.
Yeah. Anyways, okay.
So before I just asked Mark to tell us how he got into drums and like what got him into music. How did he become a musician?
I didn't really come from this overly musical household or anything like that, but my parents were always always music going on. My dad was a chemical engineer, specializing in metal, if you can believe that. And he was a big time scientist involved in a lot of heavy duty stuff, whether it's Agent Orange or part of the fuel for the X-19 rocket, which is the one Neil Armstrong flew that broke the first sonic or the speed of sound or whatever. My dad was involved in that kind of stuff. I'd go to the shelf and pull out one of his books, open it up, and just put it right back in. But anyways, no, we had music. It wasn't like crazy or anything like that. No one played anything. But I just remember being like 5, 6 years old, being in the garage with these little plastic suitcases that each of us boys had, and my mom's wooden spoons, and I was just kind of hitting around. So I had my first drum lesson at 7. It was actually in Canoga Park. My mom saved the receipt, 1965. And it had the Buddy Rich book and a pair of sticks. And, it started on the way. I wasn't the Dave Weckl where I sat in the basement for years and just shedded. I had so many times where I had lessons, I wouldn't practice, and the lessons would stop. And then I'd want lessons, and then they would put the lessons back on, and it'd go like that. Played in all the school bands. Remember being in 3rd grade, having to stand in the auditorium up on this big stage and play 5-stroke rolls and 7-stroke rolls to pass my little test. And the teacher's name was Mr. Taxi. And he had I'll never forget it. And this is a long ass time ago. He had the tortoiseshell glasses, that kind of, very Ivy League jacket with the patches on the sleeves kind of thing with the bow tie. And I'd sit there and choke up my rolls and everything. And
did you have a mustache?
No, he had that bald head kind of thing, that kind of with the glasses and the spectacles. But just started playing in bands. I wasn't like heavy geeked out into studying and practicing. I mean, I literally didn't have a real bona fide. It wasn't even bona fide because it was from Taiwan. Kid till I was 13. So there's a lot of years on a practice pad, a lot of years on a snare drum, played in the school bands, all that kind of stuff, and just was playing and just kept playing and played in different bands and, meeting people in San Jose. Exactly wasn't the hotbed, but one of my big stories is I worked at a place called Guitar Showcase, and I was underage. So what they did was trade me off cymbals for going around and handing out flyers on the cars, like advertisements. I just walk out the door, dump it in the trash, and go on my way. But that's a different story. But I'll never forget the guy behind his name was Chuck, and he played in a band called Sky Creek, and they were pretty big. But the Doobie Brothers started in San Jose, and there was this guy named Tom Johnston that was in guitar. What was it called? Guitar. God, I just said it.
Guitar Shack?
No, music. It was Stevens Music. I think it was Stevens Music. It wasn't Guitar Shack. They had the brass and the pianos. In the back where all the druggies and shit hung out. It was like, then it looked like a Guitar Center or whatever. This guy, Tom Johnston, and he was there, and he wanted to try the guitar, and Chuck was like, hey, Mark, go sit over there and just play a beat or something like that. And I was like 14, 15, if that. I couldn't play for shit. And but that was my big brush with fame when I was young. I jammed.
Dude from the Doobie Brothers?
Of the Doobie Brothers. Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
You could go around the corner and hear them kind of thing. But, yeah, just playing in the bands. And then when I was 21, I got a deal where a friend of my girlfriend or whatever in LA, I know this guy. He's managed and he's this, he's that, he's got this, he's got that, he's got a record deal, he's got all this stuff. And, you want to audition? It's like, okay, cool. So I do the quick tape and the little photo and send it down there to him. And it looked like hell and sounded like shit. But, they want you in the band. So literally pack up, like quit my job. Well, it actually put me on sabbatical, which is cool. So I could have my insurance.
Is this for Fates Warning?
No, this is way, way before Fates Warning.
So what band is this for?
This is like just some guy named Matt. His name was Matt Southard at the time.
Okay.
Story gets a little better. So I close out everything, get rid of my car, get rid of my apartment. The job puts me on sabbatical so I can have insurance. The lady Marge there was great. It was at not IBM, but the other one, whatever they do. They made the scanners for the grocery stores. But anyways, so
Xerox.
I packed. Pardon me?
Maybe Xerox or something like that.
No, it was I forgot. It'll come back to me. I'm getting old, so kind of going away here. But so my friend drives me down from LA, from San Jose to LA. Not a big trip. I get here and I literally meet the guy and walk in, and within seriously 6 minutes, I go, this ain't happening. I'm not, I bought into the whole thing. Shows you how gullible I was. Six minutes in, this ain't happening. Then it gets better. An hour later, he tells me, well, yeah, I just talked to my grandmother, and since she's paying for this, she doesn't want anybody else living here, so you can't stay here. And I'm like, huh? What? So basically, I have friends down there. Long story short, my buddy, after another friend puts me up for a few days or whatever, my buddy's going to USC, the guy that I went to high school with. And my good buddy, Mike Henry. And he basically says, no, man, you're going to come live with me. I'll take care of you. This is down right after the Rodney King riots and Reginald Denny happened down by USC. So it's Hoover in Vermont. It's like, okay, this is rough. Greatest story of my whole life. And this is what friendship is. So anybody wants to know what friendship is. We walk in, my friend Mike looks at his roommate, Glenn. He goes, hey, Glenn, this is Mark. Mark, this is Glenn. Glenn, I want you to let you know, Mark's going to stay here. He's not going to pay any rent. And no, by the way, he's going to practice his drums during the day. And if you don't like it, you can leave. I mean, that's like Al Pacino in a movie kind of thing. It was amazing. I stood there and I kind of went, wow, that's impressive. But anyways, it just kind of rolled from there, and then what happened is Bill came down from San Jose from Warlord, and it just rolled. And we moved into Warlord Manor, which was like a dumpy warehouse above this family that made actually leather belts for the police. And they had this leather press that they'd stomp and the whole building would shake. So it was good to play, but it was cockroach ridden. We made the fake shower out of, the sink, and you run a hose over to this enclosure that we got at Sears or whatever. And I could tell you how many times you can run water through coffee before it completely goes flat. It was 5 of us eating at a salad bar at Bob's Big Boy, which was quite an adventure. And then it's Warlord, and then it goes from there. Then it just takes up. That's like 1982-ish.
Yeah.
And the whole thing would have never happened unless I was so gullible. And the whole time my parents and everybody was supportive. I mean, there was no way in hell I was going back home after I was in LA.
Right.
And I went back to work. That job National Semiconductor. They made the scanners in the grocery stores, and when they break, they'd call. So I went to work, if you can believe this. You know where USC is?
Yep.
I went to work in Burbank, okay? I didn't have a car. I would get on a bus with all the domestic workers from going into Beverly Hills and take a bus for an hour and a half or whatever it was, all the way to Burbank to work, okay? You got to eat, right? Okay. And trying to find bands in the same time and all this kind of stuff. And it was just crazy. I was paying my dues, as they say.
Yeah.
Everybody looks around right now and goes, wow, that must have been great, Mark, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yes, it was, because I was responsible for myself. I wasn't responsible for anybody else. And it was all about me being selfish and what I wanted to do. And I put the time in. I was in a little storage bin in Reseda where I had my drums set up, and it was 107. And I'm just in there going on double bass. And at first, this was a good story. At first, when I went there to say, hey, can I rent this? It's a couple. You know how they live up in front? Yeah. The woman's like, no, we can't have any drums here. We just don't do that. I said, okay. So I'm walking out the door. The guy comes up to me and says, hey, I'll make you a deal. If you bring me a bottle of vodka every week, I'll put you away in the back and you can just play. I said, okay. So, I was bringing him his bottle of vodka that his wife didn't know about. And I got to play. And there's a million stories of like playing, paying your dues, like schlepping all your shit to an audition that lasts for 3 seconds. I'll never forget going to, one was Alice Cooper, which is a good one. And another one was Steve Vai. The Alice Cooper one, I sat there and I learned the songs. I could tell you every note that slowed down on those records and where it sped up. I had it cold. So I go in and I'm thinking, okay, we're going to play. I don't really care if Alice is there or not. It's just more like, okay, we're going to play the songs. I spent like a week. I'm ready. Let's go. Hey, man, let's jam. I'm like, what? What do we need jam? You told me to learn these songs. And he goes, oh, man, we don't really know them. I'm like, okay, great. They already had like Ken Mary, I think, already picked out. what a waste of freaking time that was for me. And that's
Ken Mary?
I'll never get back. And I'll never forget the Steve Vai thing. It was like at SIR, and you don't have to bring the gear, so that's cool. But you're sitting in the hallway. They bring you in after you've stood there for 2 hours. Say, okay, give us 4 bars of time in your best solo. You know, it's like, say what? You know, like I'm sitting out here. I'm completely flat. Basically, what it was, it wasn't for Steve Vai. It was for that band Phantom Blue or Phantom something or whatever with the girls. I don't know what it was. The bottom line was no one would come for an audition for them, but everybody would come for Steve Vai. So that's how they had 175 drummers lined up. But again, just paying your dues. I mean, I was working at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'd go with my buddy to Santa Barbara. We'd do construction on Martin Mull's house. And then I'd come back and rehearse with 3 bands. You know,
Hustling.
I mean, yes. You know, did I ever get the call from Journey? No, but you know, I'm here now doing what I want. We're going out to play the USA. You know, I'm sitting in, you know, Dustin, you've been here to the house in Agora, right?
Mm-hmm.
Recording studio. Well, that's where I am. And the drums are over there and the control room's here. And, you know, I play every day. I, you know, go to the gym in the morning, you know, rehearse, play, record, do whatever I have to do. And so it's been good. You know, did I get that golden ring? Did I get the brass ring? No, but it ain't done yet. So
totally.
You
How
never know.
How did you get it in the offer to get into Fate's Warning? How did that come about?
Well, Warlord was up and out at that point. You know, we'd done what we'd done, but the band was no more. The guy, and it was on Metal Blade. So all the guys in Fate's Warning were like giant Warlord fans. Jim was a giant Warlord fan, and I heard stories that he used to hold that over everybody's head, like, oh yeah, I'm really good friends with Mark and blah blah blah. So I used to do a million drum tunings on those early Metal Blade records with Bill Matoyer. You know, Sentinel Beast, Bitch, DRI, Cryptic Slaughter, every record that Metal Blade ever did early on, especially if it was in LA, I would do the drum tuning. Bill Matoyer would bring me in because it was a combination of 2 things. A lot of guys couldn't tune to save their lives. And then it's a really nice luxury to have someone else do it, because that's what we did on Parallels when we had Terry Brown who did that. He brought in a guy, Silka 2, that was just like mind blowing. Mm-hmm. And again, I didn't have to deal with it. So it was great. But yeah, we did all those tuning, and I did 2 Fates Warning records. They were actually rehearsed in the old Warlord Manor in North Hollywood. And then I went into the, you know, I think it was Stag Street at the time, or track record maybe. And we went in and I tuned the drums and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. So Jim basically called me up one day and said, hey man, I think we're looking to replace the drummer Steve, you know, are you interested? And I said, honestly, and this gets me in trouble, but I'm always really direct, especially when it comes to music. I can't lie. If it's something else, I can kind of bend the truth a little bit, you know, but when it comes to music, I just got to be straight up. I said, I'll be honest with you, man, if you're looking to continue in that no exit kind of thrash metal, I go, I'm not your guy. I go, that's just not me. I don't like playing it. I don't like listening to it. So that's going to be a tough one if that's the direction you're going. He goes, oh, no. The reason that we're actually looking for the drummer is we want to go in a different direction, and we don't think Steve, the current drummer, can keep up and move with us in that respect. And if you go look at No Exit compared to Parallels or Perfect Symmetry, mm-hmm. I mean, it's freaking night and day. You know, it's a combination of the drummer and the style of music that the drummer was able to play. You know, I'm not saying that it would have been different if I played on the No Exit records. I'm sure I wouldn't have played the way Steve did, because we played totally different. You know, mm-hmm. Right, wrong, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. You know, one could say, oh, this is great and that sucks. It doesn't matter. It's just we're different. We're looking at it differently. And the band had a drummer that played a certain way, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of the writing went that way because of that. You know, you can't have like an operatic singer and think you're going to do death metal. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, so if you have a drummer that's a certain way. So, and it just kind of went from there. I sat in North Hollywood and learned the music. And that was back in the day when we'd sit there with that phone. Hey, Jim, what do you think of this? And you hold it up to the speaker. Yeah, there was no internet. There was no MP3. You know, hopefully he had a good long distance plan. And because he was back in Connecticut or New Hampshire at the time. And we just did it like that. Then I went
That's
out.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You guys were like remote recording before there was internet. That's
Oh yeah, we'd sit there with the thing. You know, you figured out exactly where the best spot was, like to get the highs and the lows and the whole bit.
Mhm.
And because to send a tape, it'd take a week, and half the time it'd show up broken. So it's like that doesn't make any sense. So I went to Connecticut. We went to the Carriage House. You were doing Perfect Symmetry. I'm not even sure we rehearsed. I don't think we rehearsed as a band. I think Jim and I, we knew what the drum parts were going to be. They knew, they had my drum parts, and they rehearsed and, like wrote to that, kind of thing. Max Norman, quote, produced it, if you want to call that. That's very loose terminology when you say produced. One of the things that I'll never forget, we show up, we're going to Pearl to get drums because somebody knows somebody at Pearl. This was before I had any kind of deal with anybody. So you go to Pearl and you pick one off this shelf, one off that shelf, one off that shelf, whatever. Kind of god awful drums, really hard to tune, just not my favorite. But anyways, I brought my brass snare that I always have, my Ludwig brass snare that was on probably 17 Metal Blade records. Because when I do that drum tuning with Bill Matoyer, I would bring that snare drum just because it was just great.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody could hit it and it sounded great. Very, very, very forgiving drum. And it sounded great. And I'll never forget one day in the studio, a guy walks in, they're playing some other song. The guy goes, "That's Mark's snare, isn't it?" So it's like, then we stopped using it because it got a little too much. But anyway, it has kind of a used head on it when I bring it with me, but it sounds amazing. We set up that night just to screw around, and we cut a song. I forgot what it was, but everybody's like, "Oh my God, that snare sounds amazing." It's like, "Oh my God, this is going to be great." Max Norman, coming from the old school, "Oh no, man, you got to change the head on every song." Say what? And we never got that sound back. I wouldn't be surprised if they went back to that song, sampled it, and used it. But it was interesting,
Yeah.
And we were just kind of off and running, it was like tour time. Metal Blade was great. The touring, the videos that we did Through Different Eyes in the Brooklyn Naval Yard off that album. And the rest is history, as they say.
Brian, do you have any questions? Do you want to?
All my stuff's going to be stemming from, like Deliver Us here.
Okay.
Because I guess is the tour, the dates coming up, is it everything pretty much centered around Deliver Us?
Well, basically, you have to take into account Warlord's never played in America.
Right.
Warlord is not a band that like beat people over the head for 25 years, touring.
Right.
So one could almost justify this as a new band in that respect.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm not going to no one's ever going to say, "Man, I've seen you guys 94 times," like they do with Metallica and like
right
big bands that have been around forever, as much as Warlord's been there for 40 years. To me, that is the shit. That record right there, that's right in your background there, that is Warlord. Yes, we went in a little different directions. Okay, Lost in Lonely Days and Aliens.
Yeah.
Okay, that was kind of, to me, Aliens was going a little Fates Warning action there. It was kind of, that was from a drum point of view, started getting a little progressive per se, but still staying within that song format.
Right.
And then Bill got into the big theatrical stuff, and the Holy Empire is amazing. But to me, Warlord is that record right there. It's Child of the Damned. It's Lucifer's Hammer.
Yeah.
Interesting story about this though is, well, there's a lot of interesting stories, but the way we got quote signed with the Metal Massacre 2 is Brian Slagle was working at Oz Records and he was starting a quote label. And we walked in with the old demo tape and played Winds of Thor for about 8 bars. And Brian said, "Hey man, you guys want to be on Metal Massacre 2?" So as much as Winds of Thor didn't show up later in the albums, that was the one that got the deal. But when you talk about Lucifer's Hammer, Winter Tears, Penny for a Poor Man, that just that album right there encapsulates it, especially like with Mrs. Victoria on it, where that is getting a little progressive per se.
Right.
That was just Warlord, and that's when we were like really clicking per se. That was like that personification of a band that had been rehearsing because Bill and I, a lot of people don't know this, but Bill and I rehearsed in San Jose in a little auto bin. Okay, I'm surprised we never got robbed, but it was out in a horrible part of town. It was him and I. He was there in his Kiss boots and the leopard pants and the black leather jacket. And seriously, Marshall on 12 in a cement room, and we were just jamming. Battle of the Living Dead at 225 beats per minute. I couldn't keep up. I mean, it was like we were just jamming all those songs. We jammed, and it was just him and I. So that's where so much of the connection of the drums and the guitar and how much that Warlord, kind of revolved. Warlord was basically songs, but when it got away from the song, there's a lot of inner working, and I was allowed and able to really play. I was able to play, and you hear like things where I just tie into the guitar note for note and then come away from it, and then it's more groove oriented, and those kind of little things. Those come from just me and Bill sitting there for hours and hours, just jamming and playing, and writing songs and going over the songs and refining them. So I would say Warlord is really Deliver Us. That's the one. That's the $800 album. Cost $800.
Yeah.
It was an 8-track. It was in a studio in North Hollywood down the street. The 2 kick drums and the bass guitar are all shoved down to 1 track with all that ping pong bouncing thing. And it ain't no Pro Tools, trust me. This was on analog machines, running it out and running it back in, And, the engineer was smoking crack cocaine cigarettes the whole time. We didn't know what the hell it was. It was like, what is that? I don't, it doesn't smell like weed. I was like, what is that? We didn't figure out what it was, But he did an amazing job, incredible job for an 8-track on tape, okay, where the tape's going to be degrading as we go, needless to say, across the head. This wasn't the day of slaves and backing it up to the computer or even having a second reel.
Right.
We did get made fun of by Stuart Copeland of the Police.
Oh, wow.
He came in there because him and Corky were friends. Corky was the engineer, and he thought the whole thing with the names was hysterical. And I wanted to say, you do know you have a singer named Sting, right? Okay. Like Dana Carvey says, not Stung, but Sting, So, it was interesting times. It was awesome. It was unbelievable to hear what we were doing actually on tape with an engineer that was good. You know, I mean, he was good. Was he great? No. I mean, he wasn't in a great studio either, but we made do, and we did what we had to do.
Yeah. Well, the album back here, that is the one. That is what you sent me.
Where's our?
That's the one.
Is that on
Enigma? 4 of those?
Is the label Enigma?
Going to
No, this is on Metal Blade. This is, I don't know if you remember, but I asked you because I was a high school kid. I didn't know anything.
Yep.
I asked you if you would sign it, and so there it is.
Oh, there it is. Oh yeah.
Man, I've had this in my possession 42 years now.
Yeah, that's Bill. Because I remember at a certain point, I know it was Metal Blade, but I thought they started coming out on Enigma.
But no, that's a Metal Blade press.
That's the Metal Blade. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's a Metal Blade press. So you mentioned the names. Stuart Copeland was, getting a chuckle out of the names. So let me ask you this, because you were Thunderchild on the album. Was that inspired by this?
What is that?
War of the Worlds?
No.
Okay. Have you been asked that before?
No, actually, no. But Bill was the equivalent of Gene Simmons and Kiss, but the one that went to college. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And the guy, Bill read like nobody's business. I don't know if people know, but Bill went back to college, got a degree in theology, and was teaching at a private college, a small private college in Florida. Unbelievably smart guy, ridiculously smart guy, overly well-read, but at the same time, he had ridiculously creative. He had a whole theory of Warlord. Okay, this is about the band. This isn't about the individual player and your name. If you've ever noticed, you can go back and listen, Bill looked at the vocals as just another instrument, okay? It wasn't like David Lee Roth's type vocals. You never hear an ad lib on a Warlord record. You never hear a singer, doing anything like David Lee Roth and or Coverdale or any of that kind of stuff. Bill,
showy.
No, exactly. None of that. It was about the band. It was about the song. And he just looked at the vocals as just another instrument. When he would write, that's how it is. You could take the vocal line and play it on a violin, and it'd be the same thing as a vocal. But his big thing was about the band. But then he also had stuff where he had ideas of movies. He had ideas of TV shows. He had ideas of kind of that individual character with a solo album, but not necessarily a solo album where it's like a big drum solo. It would be, he would have a whole story behind it, and he had all kinds of things upstairs in a Kiss type way, but a little bit more, I don't want to say serious, but not so goofy at times. I'm sure Bill didn't have anybody have fluids going anywhere, it was more about just like really serious, Bill was.
Did he ever breathe fire though?
Nope. Never breathed fire, maybe a little trouser lightning here and there, but that's,
I like that. Trouser lightning.
Yeah.
That'd be a good band name.
But no, he was like deep into it. And if he would have had the money backing to make that kind of stuff happen and go, we might be in a different spot talking about it right now, because he really had a lot of stuff going, Picture this 17-year-old kid in San Jose sitting at a bus stop. He's got the tight Jordache jeans on, the white Capizios, the black and white striped shirt, kind of the long hair, the sunglasses, smoking the cigarette, and nobody in San Jose looked like that. Trust me, the Doobie Brothers didn't look like that, okay? He was dialed into Richie Blackmore and metal and all that. And he's sitting at a bus stop writing Lucifer's Hammer. It comes from the heavens on a mission from hell, the force of destruction. 17-year-old kid. Unbelievable. Dude never played a bad note, never wrote a bad song, just was all about the band. Yes, he could play the Yngwie stuff. He could play the Blackmore stuff. That's not a problem. This is another guy that had the guitar in his hand 24/7, kind of that Eddie Van Halen kind of thing. I'm not going to say we are 5 of us eating a salad bar at Bob's Big Boy and Bill had a guitar with him. I'm not saying that, but man, when we're back at Warlord Manor, in the studio thing, he always had a guitar. Always was playing. So just an incredible talented guy. I'd never played with anybody like that. It's a shame that it never got what it was supposed to, that what hopefully maybe could have, where it went. When you have people that aren't really into that whole thing, hear it for the first time and go, damn, that didn't sound like anybody. I go, yeah, that was kind of the point. That was the point.
Right. And that was my first reaction the first time I heard Black Mass. It's like, this is cool. There's something different. I can't say what it is, but it's something different.
It's got a little King Diamond, just a little. Yeah. But it's got a little bit more musicality, I would say. Yeah. Maybe it's got a swing to it. It's got the musicality in the playing. There was nothing mundane about that. That had the whole intro and the whole 9 yards, man. That's a movie soundtrack in the making right there.
Yes.
But what can you say? Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Well, so you guys you're doing your first U.S. tour, you were saying, right?
Yeah, this is the first time. Actually, it's the first time some of the guys are in the band that have been in the United States.
Oh,
wow. It'll be good. I haven't played in the States, I think, in 20 years. I think the last thing I did was Fates Warning reunion kind of thing that we did like 30,000 miles in 30 days. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, it'll be nice to wake up in the morning and talk to people in English. It'll be nice to look out at a crowd in America. It's I miss it. Trust me. Europe's cool and Europe's great and all that kind of great stuff. But when you spend so much time there and you don't get to play in America, it kind of sucks. So
yeah, I could imagine. I remember talking to Mike Borden of Faith No More when they played in Salt Lake City in the 90s, right before they broke up the first time, and he was saying that he's like, man, we will go to, and that's Faith No More, right? Like they're kind of a different. You guys are like way more European metal kind of tinged. But he was even saying, he's like, we can play stadiums in Europe, but here it's like tiny clubs.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that we can play stadiums, but there's I don't know, because there's so much time that has gone by. I know this sounds funny, but we're getting into like audiences that might not be here anymore. I mean,
Totally.
you're talking about 40 years, and that's a lot. Someone got into Warlord when they were 35, 40.
He's 80 now.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's cool. It's cool to see the young kids. It's
Yeah.
cool to see even the 25-year-olds kind of thing that got into that, probably from their parents, if they did. I'm very interested what America is going to be like, because like you said, Dustin, you said it. It's a completely different ballgame. Not necessarily Warlord, but they're like, I mean, Hammerfall in Europe can play gigantic, the Enormo Dome, and here they struggle and they have to package it up with other bands.
Same with Sabaton. Like Eric, my cousin Eric is big on Sabaton, Swedish band. I don't know if you know there, and they're huge in Europe, but like I think they were struggling to sell tickets here.
Oh yeah, no, it's tough. The other thing here that's really tough is everything's so spread out. Yes, you can go to New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, get that little cluster and play 9 dates or whatever. And even Florida is good in that respect. Texas to a point, if you're big enough, travel around. But man, when you start doing this, what we're doing, oh my God, LA to San Francisco to Oregon, Oregon to Washington, Washington to Vancouver, and then the classic day off to get back to Salt Lake City. I think I'm going to be on a cheap ass flight during that and come out of pocket and pay for that myself instead of, sitting in the RV for that trip. I don't need to put those kind of miles on my ass.
Well, the cool thing too is I've seen a lot. I mean, a lot of bands do this now. The way that the game has changed is like you can do like a 5-date tour, take a couple week break, do another 5 dates, or do dates here and there. A lot of these guys we talk to like have day jobs and will do a festival show here and there, and put out their records. And it's
that gets really tough with guys from Europe. That gets tough. That works. Like if you're all within 10 blocks of each other and you're cool with that, that also works for a band like Kansas that's big enough to where we're going to play fly-in dates on Fridays, Saturdays, and that's it. Every weekend, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, if you're Metallica, you probably have a lot more.
I mean, Metallica
do that kind of shit.
They can do whatever they can do whatever they want. I mean, trust me, that's not a problem. But yeah, it's tough with the visas that all those guys have to have. So that's why to really make this work, there has to be that second half on the East Coast that you put it on the agent because they're invested. So they need to really get this East Coast thing of this happening to make money, because you have the visa. You don't want to get in a situation where the visa expires and then, oh my God, we have to do this again and pay that kind of money. And it's a lot of money. This ain't $1.95. This is big money, Someone's got to pay for it. So, but no, we're very excited about the tour.
Was it last year that some, I guess, paperwork fell through or something that you weren't able to play Hell's Heroes, or was that 2 years ago?
That was last year, and I'm just going to leave it at that was not our fault. We were overly ahead of time, and basically putting us in a position, if we were going to deal with this, the guys would have to give up their passports to get this done, and it would have jeopardized our Japanese trip. And we weren't able to do that. And as it worked out, even if we gave up our passports, they dropped the ball, and it never would have went through. So we would have been totally screwed.
Okay.
All around the block. So yeah, that was last year. This year, everything's done. It's all good to go. Flights are done. RVs booked. Blah 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 blah. Visas are in.
I mean, I feel like I have to be there in Houston for that first American show, but for my schedule, it just can't work.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, here's the thing you have to remember too. Hell's Heroes is going to be great just because from a fan perspective. It's going to be great. It's a little bit of a throw and go gig. You know what I mean? We're playing right before Sirathungal, which is the headliner, which is interesting. They have us build above Onslaught. So that's interesting, but it's going to be entertaining, as compared to other shows. We're going to get there. We'll have a proper sound check. Everything will be like a real gig. This is going to be like kind of a throw and go. So I'm not going to say it's not going to be good, but if you're going somewhere else, I can guarantee that will be a little bit more polished, maybe, you know. But it'll be interesting. I'm very curious to see, because Onslaught hasn't played here in a long time. I'm just kind of curious to see where the fan bases roll out, you know. Like I've always said, I don't care how big the place is as long as it's packed.
Right.
You know, that's the important thing. I'd rather play a dump and packed than a theater and have it half full and look out and throw a drumstick out and have it hit the ground.
Sure.
You know, that kind of thing. So we're looking forward to it. Trust me, we're playing a lot of dumps. No, I'm just kidding. You know, you know, but we're good. Everybody's it's a great band. It's a great hang. There's no attitude whatsoever. You know, all that kind of great stuff. It is kind of that whole thing of, yeah, it does come down to me. So I can get pissy if I want to.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's I think Philly Hart said it best when he said, because he manages Kansas, you know, the drummer, and he said it best one day. He goes, sometimes it's good to be king, you know, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
yeah, we're good.
Six band members then. Yeah, 6 in the band.
Yep. 2
Okay.
guitars, keyboard, bass, singer, drummer. Yep.
Okay.
Warlord always in a live situation was that. Well, I take that back. In the early days, we were 3-piece. Well, you know,
Right.
3-piece and the singer. You know, we just used to tear it up. You know, I mean, just it was like Robin Trower on steroids or something. It was crazy, just 3 guys. But yeah, you know, you have to have that dual guitar thing. And I have to say, the band has never sounded better. Yes, I know Bill's not here. These guys have this thing nailed sound-wise. They've spent so much time on the sounds, so much time on note for note for note playing stuff. And before in the past, and it's not a negative thing to say, it was a little looser. You know, Bill was a little looser of a player. He wasn't a road dog kind of guy that like been on the road, you know, and knows how the gigs go and everything. And then Paulo, great guitar player, but he didn't speak English. So it made it a little difficult when it came down to dual leads and these guys are trying to put things together and make it sound right. So it was always a little sketchy. Let's just leave it there.
Okay.
But this band, and then you take the front line of the guys that are younger, you know, the old dudes are kind of in the back, and it has a youthful energy that we never had before. And I think that translates to the fans. I'm not saying guys are running all over the place and doing track meets, but there's that music is so powerful and so emotional that they bring it. They definitely bring it, and it's a great thing to play.
Did you have anything else, Brian?
Man, I can't think of anything else.
So what are, like when do you guys start this run, Mark?
First actual gig is the 18th. It's actually, I guess it's next Wednesday. That's the Hell's Heroes. And then it kind of goes Houston, Dallas, Austin kind of thing. So we're in the old Lone Star State. Those will probably, I can almost bet my bottom dollar, those are going to be great shows just because those are kind of rocking towns.
Oh, yes.
Those I'm thinking, again, I don't know what the draw that Onslaught has. And what I'm hoping, and people have asked me, well, you know, they're kind of like a thrash kind of metal. How's that going to work out? I said, well, hopefully what's going to happen is you'll have 2 different fan bases that won't kill each other. You know, this isn't going to be like the famous Fates Warning opening up for Pantera, but someone forgot to tell everybody that, oh, wait a minute, Pantera's not a glam band anymore, you know, and their audience was brutal. I mean, they were throwing stuff at us. Lit cigarettes were flying at us. Pennies, pennies, nickels, and quarters.
Mm.
I made $1.25 that night. That was kind of cool. And here's the funniest story. So it's the Vic Theater in Chicago. It's beautiful. It's stunning. You know, it's a beautiful place. We look out. I see the dude with the glasses and the pencil protector and the glasses. You know, typical Fates Warning fan. And we start up, and the fans are like, "Fuck you!" You know, it's like throwing stuff at us, and it was brutal. And I'll never forget, we cut everything that was slow. We're like, cut. We're out of here. And then the promoter backstage gives us a hard time that we didn't play longer. And it's like, dude, do you realize that we're going to get killed?
Did you see us?
Did you see that? I mean, you might have been laughing, but I wasn't. Yeah. But So I'm thinking that you got a cross pollination of like the two different things, because as much as they're quote thrash metal, they're not like extreme thrash metal. And we have some songs with double bass in it, and we have some stuff that's up tempo. So I'm thinking you're kind of hopefully getting a cross crowd per se that can appreciate what
you guys are like more in the power metal kind of bucket probably. But I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
modern audiences though, I think are probably a lot more open-minded than they were back then too.
I think that, and also I think I've said it a million times. We might not have the greatest singer. We know we have the greatest drummer, but no, we might not have the greatest this, or the greatest that, or the greatest light show, or whatever. But we have the songs. At the end of the day, I know when we go on the stage and we play down, I think we're playing 15, 14, whatever songs, that we have songs that people can tap their feet to. That
That's
people go, second time around, I got the chorus, man. I got it, and the energy and the simplicity of by no means are we like AC/DC, but there's a communication factor that you can grab that song within 8 bars.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like goofy going on, like, oh, where'd that go? Oh, now we're into a reggae section. Oh, we're over here. It's you can grab it. I've always said in my clinics that the greatest drum beat of all time is 4 quarter notes on a kick drum, because everybody gets that. My mom doesn't get Dave Weckl or Vinnie Colaiuta and all this and that, or all these clowns that you see on the internet that that are like 150 miles an hour, and the guy's smoking a cigarette and eating a sandwich and banging his girlfriend at the same time that he's playing the beat. It's like no one gets that. It's like it's I don't know.
People that like metal and drumming, but that's the audience it's designed for, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but you're right. It's for mass appeal. That's why techno is so popular. The like boom, boom, boom. What is it? 4 on the floor. 4 on the floor.
Absolutely. Again, that's your heartbeat. That's your pulse. I mean, hey, take all that gymnastic drumming and put it in a song that people can go.
Totally. It's like Yngwie. It's like Yngwie, man. Like I saw Yngwie at the Canyon Club. Dryden and I went and saw Yngwie at the Canyon Club. And after like a couple of songs, we were like, all right, we've pretty much seen all we need to see. Like, let's leave.
There's a bunch of guys out there that kind of, you hit that mark. I'll never forget when Philip Bino was playing with Vi. Philip, who always plays with me, and bass player. And he says to me, I go see him in the Ventura Theater. And he says to me, he goes, did you last the song? It's like, because within 3 minutes you hear all the I mean, it's guitar. That's like for the guitar guys, and God bless them.
Yeah. I'm a guitar guy, and it's like I revere guys like Yngwie. He's obviously a legendary player, but it's like after a while, it's just like, can you just play a song, dude? I've heard you do every arpeggio 4 times now. Like it would be. So to your point, I totally understand where you're coming from.
I know it's a song. It's the hook, and it's the power and the tightness of the band.
Eddie Van Halen understood that, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. That's a great, thing. Blackmore too. As much as Blackmore was all the neoclassical, come on. You want to talk about the most underrated riff master? Yes, Tony Iommi.
Rainbow is the shit. Like I fucking love Rainbow, like Tarot Woman, and like what's that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, Rising's one of Mark's favorite albums.
Yep. But you look at Blackmore and you go, okay, what's that song about the smoke in the water? I mean, come on. That's the riff. I'd be hard pressed to say that Van Halen has a riff that guys go into Guitar Center and play more than they do Smoke on the Water.
Oh, you're right. You're totally right. Was Deep Purple? Was he in Deep Purple too?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Space Trucking. Yes. That song, like that is the hardest ass song from that era. It's so underrated. That riff, like that's heavy as fuck for that era.
How about Burn?
Yeah, oh yeah, like it's crazy.
I mean, come on. I mean, the dude is underrated. I mean, and then the funny part of it is, I know there's other guitar players before Blackmore that you go, okay, if there weren't for them, there wouldn't be Blackmore, but there wouldn't be an Yngwie without a Blackmore. Okay,
right.
And Bill from Warlord was a huge Blackmore fan. Like that was his guy. No doubt about it. He was. That's why the Rainbow kind of thing that we had going on, and kind of that kind of thing.
You mentioned Robin Trower too, another
I love
underrated guitar fucking.
Bridge of Sighs has to be about as
Yeah.
close to a perfect album as there ever is going to be.
That was one of my father's favorites. Like my dad's a big guitar player. He's the guy who was like, he plays guitar, and he's one of the reasons I play guitar. But he'd be playing that fucking solo from Comfortably Numb all the time. That Gilmore solo and shit. So.
Oh yeah. They don't make them like that anymore. That's for damn.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I feel like there is a lot of great stuff, but we've talked about this before because of how it's like there's a fire hose. 1,000 songs were just uploaded in the time that we started talking about this, So it's kind of like, how do you find? And also, I do think there was like looking back on old records. I've been listening to a lot of 80s stuff lately, and it got me thinking about how like it's kind of like back in those days records were kind of made by committee to some degree, but at the end of the day, you kind of got a better product after it was like it went through like an A&R and a producer to some degree. It's like there was someone else in the room to like look at the artist and go, that's kind of corny. Like maybe we cut that out or something. You know what I mean?
Well, I think I'm going to get on the old man porch with Clint Eastwood here. This all went. Hey, say what you want about Lars. He had that Napster shit nailed. Okay. The problem that you're talking about right now is the record company. And what killed the record company, obviously, they couldn't make any money because you took what they were selling and you made it for free.
Yeah.
Okay. Game over. It's over. Okay. So what you're talking about, Dustin, is going back to when like, okay, we're going to invest in this band. We're going to do 3 records, 4 records, whatever.
Yep.
We're going to build it. Let's see what they can do. We'll have a producer. Okay. Hey guys, and then it turns into this. Hey guys, here's the deal. We're going to give you a dump load of money. We're going to push this because we're going to have skin in the game, but we're going to bring in outside writers and we're going to have them write 3 of the hits per se. You guys can play jazz fusion after that. And this happened all the time. You can play jazz fusion. We don't give a shit.
Right.
It's those 3 songs, whether it's Heart, Bon Jovi, whoever.
Kiss, didn't Desmond Child help write fucking
there you go.
Made for Loving You? Yeah.
Exactly. So you're bringing in the thing because this is business. This isn't right. Art and I'm in my basement and aren't I cool and all this.
Right.
Okay. That went away because all of a sudden a record company can't make money. It's so funny. In my lifetime, I have seen record company sucks, you need to tour. Next week, touring sucks, you need a record. Week after that, this sucks. You got it. It's like a never-ending thing because the business keeps changing.
Just keeps flipping. Well, I said this the other day too. It used to be that you did the tour, like you made the expensive record, and then you did the tour to promote the record. Yeah. Now you do the record to promote the tour. It's like completely flipped around, where you make the songs and then you go out. Those are your vehicle to promote your live shows.
Yeah, it used to be you'd be on tour, and even the Fates Warning stuff, as late as Fates Warning, we were on tour when the record was coming out because then you'd be doing in stores, and then you'd be doing other promo things with record station or radio stations and all this stuff. But when it got to that point, now the thing is, and I've been involved in this, that the deal is, okay, I got this band and we're looking for a deal, and you go talk to the label, and they say, who's in the band and how many records did they sell on their last record? That's all they care about. And I swear to this, I swear to this, I could have the 25-year-old good-looking kid that is a cross between Steve Perry, Ronnie James Dio, and Steve Walsh that can write like that and can sing like that, and no one would care. Because, well, wait a minute, how many records did he sell before? Well, he never really sold anything.
Right.
Oh, we might take a chance on that.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to take a chance on that, putting out a record? As much as we think it's great and we love it, it seems like so much of the industry has nothing to do with the music. Maybe it never did have anything to do with the music.
Yeah, that's the truth. Well, Zappa even said this too, because he was like, back in the day, you would have a guy with a cigar in the office, and the A&R guys would bring something to him. He's like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but throw some money at it. Let's see if it sticks. You know, and it's like, and you don't have that really anymore. Now they want, to your point, they want someone like, you already have to have like 80 million TikTok followers or some shit to get a record deal. Even actors are dealing with that. Like they have to have a social media presence to get an acting gig, you know?
Yeah. That's a little scary, but that's a tough one to follow, but at least back then, back then. It was like a full machine firing on all these different cylinders.
Right.
And look at a band like King's X. Now, there's a great example. They had great band, had every break known to man. Okay. The thing Fates Warning and Warlord never had was a major label. Okay, they had a major label. I think it was Atlantic. They did videos that got on MTV like nobody's business. I mean, they got the living crap played out of videos.
I remember.
They toured with every major act you could think of. I think they were out with Rush, the Scorpions, Blue River. I mean, so here's a band that is getting all the firing, getting everything. That's not happening anymore.
No.
No. I mean, the last A through Z album, God Bless Metal Blade, unbelievable. This day and age, to bring all on their tab, to bring all these guys out from Europe, and the guys in the band just be here a week to do photography, high-end photography, not me with a camera, or me with my phone, like real deal
professional.
Yeah,
that's what these guys do. That's what Brian and our boys do here.
Yeah, do that, and then bring them out and do the videos, like real videos, like all day long videos, to promote. And it showed. I mean, this isn't a marker that I run around and think this is the greatest thing in the world, but when a band like that gets like 230,000 hits, on a video, pretty damn good, for what we're doing. Last record had 90 to 100 that I thought was pretty good.
Well, yeah, and that'll keep going too. I watched the guys from Carcass were talking about this, which I thought was interesting. They're like, we broke up like in the late 90s or something like that. And he's like, when we came back together and started doing shows again, like more people, we had a bigger fan base. Like we did bigger shows than ever before. And it's because he's like, he said, it's like almost like when you write a record, it's like putting a message in a bottle. You never know how and when people are going to find it. And but over the years, people have kind of started to gravitate more towards that style of music. So I'm sure you guys will feel some of that too a little bit, right?
I was going to say that hopefully there's some of that. I mean, we're selling the living daylights out of albums and discs, autographed on the tour. We'll have all the shirt stuff. But the other thing that wasn't happening in my day, I mean, I wouldn't go see Montrose and they'd be selling the records. That wasn't happening. You have to go through Warner Brothers. But we're selling the records, all the various records that we sign. So you get them signed right then and there. And then like the whole shirt thing. So we're pretty much loaded and ready to go, and hoping the fact that we've never saturated America. Yeah. If you ever wanted something autographed from Warlord, well, you come out. And again, when these guys come out with the 72 different things for me to sign, I'll sign every single one of them, no problem. I'm very grateful for everybody who's bought stuff. But please, everybody, please, when you come out, introduce yourself. All I know you by is this little Facebook picture that I can't even really see, or it's probably so when you come out and we're talking, please don't assume I know who you are.
Yeah.
Okay? Please introduce. I have the biggest nightmare of the guys talking to me. Okay, cool. And I'm like going, who the fuck is this? Please just introduce. I'm not saying we're a name tag. Okay, we don't have to go there. But if you like to, that would be nice. But introduce yourself so at least I can put the name to the face, because I know the name to the face, and I know, who you are if I know who your name is and the contact that we've had. But please introduce yourself. Please don't assume that I know who you are.
That brings me to this. I just thought of something. You want to make me go to the office supply store and get some stickers that says, hello, my name is, and you have them at the merch booth. If you're going to go up and talk to anybody after the show, please wear one of these.
Absolutely. And we will sign everything. We do that. That's just the way we are. Bring out whatever you got. I'll sign them all. If you bring out all those records and so on and so forth.
Back on our conversation, throwback. This girl comments, it seems like competition runs the music industry and not actual art. Well, what we were talking about too, that's why like the guy with the cigar throwing money at music he doesn't understand. That's the problem with Hollywood too, if you notice, because they won't invest big money into like making something that might fail. They'll do like a Star Wars reboot or a fucking Star Trek reboot, or take some already existing thing they know the bean counters can look at and go, okay, we know this has a built-in audience and we'll make X. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny about that is how many things have you watched, whether it's Netflix, Amazon Prime, or in the movie theater, and go, who in God's name put the money up for this?
Yeah.
Oh, in God's name did this get made? It's like, this is freaking horrible. But you know they're not working for minimum wage. People are making money. You know,
yeah.
And if you're smart, you can bank that shit, man. I mean, again, I keep saying, just one shot at that golden ring, and I'll make it last. You know.
Right. It's also the era of like democratization of entertainment to some degree. So I feel like if you can make because I notice with my kids, even there's like a backlash to like the AI and all the like process slop. Like my kids are buying vinyl records. You know, they're like kind of getting off the internet a little bit. Like they might do Snapchat, but they don't really, not anything that sticks on social media. You know what I mean?
I understand that and I get it, but the old man in me goes, okay, I get it, but you're listening to a record that was basically made with auto-tune on the vocals. You're listening to a record that was sampled all night long on the drums and cut to the grid. So technology is cool, and I don't have anything against it per se, but you just have to realize what it is.
Sure. Well, they're buying vinyl of like, you know, my kids aren't buying new records on vinyl. They're buying like Nirvana, Nevermind, or Metallica, Master of Puppets.
But I see this argument all the time, like when it comes to art, you know, and it's like, hey, a cover is a cover, man. I don't care if it's my 5-year-old kid with hand painting. It's like art is art. If someone does it with a computer, it's still art. You might not like it for whatever reason, but there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, when the day came, then they went to a felt pen instead of having to dip it in paint. Was everybody like, oh my God, it's too easy now with a felt pen?
Right. Oh, I said that too. I'm like, it's like, because a lot of DJ guys who play other people's records to begin with are like, oh, a guy who uses a computer isn't a real DJ. And I'm like, well, that's like saying that someone someone making a phone call isn't making a real phone call unless they use a rotary phone, right? Like,
no, it's I don't, you know, it's funny because that last A through Z cover with the alligator and the zipper and the alligator and all that kind of stuff. To be honest with you, I don't know what Hugh Syme, you know, who did the album cover, who does all the Rush stuff and the Megadeth stuff and everything like that. I don't care if it was AI. It's all about how it's done. Like, what does it look like when it's finished?
Sure.
Do you like it or not? And so many people, oh man, I won't buy this. But anybody who doesn't care to use AI to save money, it's like, dude, trust me, Hugh Syme, I wasn't saving money. Okay, this isn't about that. It's about how show me what I went out and talked to 15 different people, tattoo artists, graphic artists. I go, dude, I want an alligator, you know, for the A, and the Z for I need the zipper in the mouth and whatever. No one could figure it out. No one. I tried, you know, and it's just I don't like the backlash on that when it comes to using that. It is what it is. Use it for what it is, and God bless. If it looks cool and looks great, great. If it looks like crap, it still looks like crap. You know, I don't care how you did it. It looks like crap. You know,
totally. You can use AI in classy ways for sure.
Absolutely. But I'm not a fan of. We don't cut the drums to the grid. We don't sample. I don't do any of that crap.
Yeah.
But the truth be told, I am fortunate enough to be in my studio that over the years, I have everything in here that you'd go to a $1 million studio in LA as far as cutting drums. You know, I have an analog console and all my Neve stuff and everything. So I can get those sounds. I get it when people can't really get those sounds and they have to rely on samples, you know, or studio time is just really tight and we can't like record it 27 times. I can't do it 27 times. So, okay, maybe we have to cut it and polish it up. And because it's so easy these days, oh my God, to polish it up. I remember the story. I don't know if it was Alice in Chains or something. One of those bands I remember, I knew one of the engineers and he said, basically what we do is we have the drummer come in and, okay, hit the snare. Okay, hit the rack tom. Hit the floor. Okay, cool. We'll call you when the record's done.
Yeah.
And they take the samples and you put it in the drum machine. I forgot what band it was, but you know, there's all kinds of tricks because everybody was striving just to make that record, you know. And let's face it, there's a lot of people that don't qualify. In the old days, what I liked about it is you had to be at a certain level to do a record. You might not be great, but you had to be at a certain level. Now I could bring my dog in here right now and pull the mic in and, make them squeal into the mic and goof around. I could have a hit record by the end of tomorrow.
Right.
I mean, and that's kind of that. There's no whatchamacallit, the oversaturation. There's, like you said, there's too much to listen to. I remember, and you guys probably do too, is like that day of Tower Records, like, okay, what's coming out this week?
Mm-hmm.
Not like, oh my God, there's 750 things that are coming out,
Yeah.
It's like, I've talked to a couple buddy of mine that are, Tony at the Metal Command show, and he says he gets so much, like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks they're going to be a star. Like,
sure. It's for us too. It's like I get requests from PR people all the time, and I'll be like, I'll listen to stuff. And if I really genuinely like a band's music, I don't care how big they are, I'll have them on our show. I want to talk to them and stuff, but there's so much stuff now. I'm just like, I'll listen to some stuff and I'm just like, this sounds like everything else I heard the last week. Like it's so generic and processed, and it has like the same kind of, like, to your point about the grid stuff. It's like, I've been recording Dryden's band, or mixing them anyway. They recorded their shit, but I've been mixing it for them. And my first, instinct was to like beat detective, line it up with the grid. And then I started kind of messing with that. And I realized if you do that, you take the life out of it. Like you instantly suck the life out of the song. And then, like, the noise around the drums is part of the equation, all that kind of stuff. So anyway.
Oh no, absolutely. And the other interesting thing that I see today, and maybe you guys see it too, is in my era, as they say, it was like, this is what we're doing. I don't care how long it takes. I didn't get married till I was 43. I didn't have kids till I was 48 because I was on tour. I was selfish. I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was practicing all day long. I wanted to go to the studio at 3:00 in the morning, or wake up and play. And it was about me. Okay. I don't see that. I see, and what I've heard is, okay, we're going to be in a band. And then if we're not rock stars by the time we're 25, I'm going to be a composer. And I'm going to get into movies and soundtrack, which is a big freaking joke, because there's dudes that, Dustin, here's one. Does the name Grant Kirkhope mean anything to you?
I don't think so.
Okay. He lived very close to you. His daughter was Holly. It was in the same with all of us.
I think I'm vaguely remembering.
Okay. Grant played in the bands growing up in Scotland or England or wherever he was. Went to school in England for orchestration only. That's what they do in England. They don't, you don't take English and, social studies. He's done, Mario Kart stuff. They take him to Hungary in front of the orchestra to lead the orchestra to record. He's look up his name. He is the real deal. Okay. These guys jamming Van Halen licks and their band doesn't work out. They're not going to compete with Grant.
Right.
You're not going to be composer. Okay.
Sure.
You look them up, man. You want to talk about plus the nicest guy in the world. I mean,
do you know who Peter DiStefano is from Porno for Pyros, the guitar player?
I know Porno for Pyros, and what's his name? Not really my kind of gig, but no, I know what you're talking about.
Sure, but similar trajectory for him. I was talking to him at a party that another one of Dryden's friends was having, and I happened to I embarrassed myself because I was drunk. I started talking about Jane's Addiction, but I really embarrassed myself. But that guy also does, and he's a guy who I think, he had a lot of experience touring stuff, but he was someone who went to doing scoring for film and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Had his own studio. I think honestly, anyone that has their own studio and finds a way to make money in music, I respect it. I'm even if I don't love what they're doing, I'm just like, it's tough to make money doing music. So
I've always said it, Motley Crue and Metallica, not my favorite bands in the world, but hey man, I have to take my hat off because you're making money, and that's why they call it the music business. Am I going to bust out Motley Crue records and steal drum riffs? Probably not.
Yeah.
But
props. Totally.
Money.
I talked to Josh Todd from the band Buck Cherry a couple of years ago now, but I'm not a huge Buck Cherry fan. They have a couple of songs I'm like, oh, I can groove to, but I'm not a huge Buck Cherry fan. But I had so much respect for that guy after talking to him because of what he does. Like they have like 1 or 2 hit songs. That guy has a business. He has a crew. Off those 2 couple hits that they had, he books a fucking tour every couple years, does a new record. He knows like what the size of clubs that he can fill and and how much he needs to like do a tour that he can pay a crew and takes home some cash from. And like he does it on a cycle and runs his band like a business. And I have so much respect for all those guys that are doing that shit. It's great.
Oh yeah, you know, Mark
Working
Bowles
class
is
bands.
doing that too.
What's that?
Mark Bowles is doing that too. You know, as a singer for Ingve and all the other things,
Yeah,
and all those other things. He does that same kind of thing.
Props to that.
Yeah, it's a business. That's what it is.
Yeah, and some of the people at the higher levels, like, you know, Lamb of God or Metallica or whatever, I'm sure they have like crews that help them do it, and that, you know, they're on a major label and all that stuff. But I just have a ton of respect for a guy like Josh Todd, who's just like self-employed basically off a couple hit songs he had and just fucking.
Yeah. Well, you know, Philly Hart from Kansas manages Kansas, I think, for the last 40 years or something that he said. And, you know, there's a guy, smart guy, you know, learn from Don Kirshner and Bud Carr. What can you say? And has that band even to this day selling out to 2,000, 3,000 kind of thing. And just a business, just
it's so crazy how, you know, a lot of the bands from that era that are classic rock now, even from the 90s, even like Rage Against the Machine and Nirvana and 9 Inch Nails are like classic rock now, you know. But
that's debatable, but okay.
Well, I mean, I would consider them that, but it's like they're obviously, then there's like the real classics like Floyd and Zeppelin and the Beatles and all that kind of stuff, you know, like. But even Alice Cooper, it's like fucking Alice Cooper and the Stones are still out there touring. Yep. And it's very cool to me that like a lot of these bands that I grew up listening to now can find a whole new generation of fans. And then you go to the shows, you know, I take my son, me and Dryden, we you know, I took him to see like Lamb of God and Deftones and all these bands that are like bands that were big in my prime. And there's not only, you know, old heads like myself, but a whole new generation of fans and everything in between at these shows.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I kind of go back to, and I kind of leave it right here, Foreigner Sticks in Kansas. Okay. There's others, there's Def Leppard and there's others, but I'm just saying those 3 where it's the total vindication and my evidence that era had the best music and the best songs. And what's happening is you're having those bands play with no original members because God forbid they've died. I mean, they've died. They physically can't make it.
Yeah.
Okay. But whatever the case, okay. But they're doing amazingly well because people want to come see the songs. It's
sure.
Want to come see Yes, you'd want to go see Robert Plant. Okay, you'd want to go see him. Yes, you'd want to go see Lou Gramm. And I know he's out and, you know, he's had the health issues and everything like that. But, you know, and Journey, okay, I got to throw Journey in there. Journey has to go. You know, I mean, you're talking about the music, okay? And I think that's what's really different. I don't see, you know, a Counting Crows and you know, whatever that other band, Gin Blossoms, you know, doing that kind of business. I mean, Kansas is just pounding it, man. Sure. Like those other bands pound it, and that they're drawing 2 to 3 to 4, you know, and it's like you're talking about guys that are in their 70s, you know, and it's but it's the song. And I'll never forget going to see Kansas, and we're sitting there, and they're doing their thing, and it's great, and it's unbelievable. And Billy Greer goes up to the mic, says, "Hey man, everybody doing? Hey, we got a new album out." Fucking, I had to stand up for 10 minutes while everybody was going by me to go to the bathroom and go to the
right, song.
Because they don't want to hear it.
Yeah, they don't want to hear your new shit.
You know, you want to hear Point of No Return.
Dust in the Wind.
Exactly. But that proves my point, the running argument about being raised in the era with the best music. I mean, if you see that list of what came out in 1976, oh my God.
Straight up to the 70s, not only were the 70s, I consider the 70s like the golden age of record making.
Yep.
Especially because not only are there's all this great music that came out of that era, but like all the R&B and hip hop in the 90s are samples of those records.
Commodores, man, the OJs, the Spinners.
Sly Stone, James Brown.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
I was kind of raised on that stuff a little bit. My parents had that around. They had Tijuana brass.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Detroit, but I don't know how much
Okay.
Motown I got out of that. But I got into that big time later on, man. Oh my god,
That's my favorite genre outside of heavy metal and like rock is like soul music, like James Brown, Sly Stone, Mandrill, like all those bands. Cool in the Gang. Yeah, there's so much good stuff.
Even little shades of disco because it was the song.
Yeah,
the songs were so good. But I've watched that Temptations movie probably 12 times.
Oh wow.
I can keep watching, man. Just keep watching the Temptations.
Yeah, man. That's such great stuff.
Oh, absolutely. That scene when David Ruffin runs in and he grabs the microphone when they're playing that gig, when they do.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
Oh, I love that movie. Oh my God. I can watch that over and over again. But anyways, okay. I digress.
Well, we could probably go on for another hour, man. We should probably start winding it down. Brian, I've been yapping a lot. Do you got any other things you want to cover, man?
No, I really can't think of anything. I mean, I recognize one name in the lineup. And that's Jimmy.
For Warlord?
Yeah, Jimmy Waldo.
Good old Jimmy. Yep.
Oh my gosh, Dustin, I don't know if you know, but Jimmy's been around the block a few times. He's
Jimmy
got some iconic. He's got some iconic listings on his resume.
Yep. Jimmy's that guy that should write a book.
Yes.
No, every time I see that dude, you got to write a book. He has stories ranging from things he's done to Peter Frampton to Eddie Kramer to opening up for Kiss Kansas.
Oh, wow.
Blah, 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 blah.
If I get an opportunity to speak with him, I'm going to ask him if he has any Bon Scott stories.
I don't know about. I've never heard him in that. Does he have them?
I don't know because I recently read Bon's Last Highway, a book on Bon Scott, and all the tours with Bon Scott, AC/DC Bon Scott, were listed. And New England, I'm assuming Jimmy played with. Is that the same Jimmy that was in New England?
Oh yeah.
Okay, no, so New England, AC/DC and Journey toured on Evolution.
Really?
And so they played here in Fort Worth in May of '79, I think it was.
Oh, I got to ask Jimmy about that. Okay, I'll ask him.
So I mean, that was around the time where I was still learning about the shows and stuff, but I was kind of surprised because I'm a New England fan, and I was kind of surprised. It's like New England toured with AC/DC and Journey.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but back then, Tower of Power was out with Montrose in Europe. Explain that.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, they would do that for the reasoning of these people are going to draw X amount. These people are going to draw X amount. Now, maybe they'll kill each other at the show, but we're going to have a bigger audience range. And that's right. Back real quick to this thing with Onslaught. I'm thinking that you're going to have, the cross-pollination and have a bigger crowd as compared to two bands that are if you had two bands that were exactly like Warlord or exactly like Onslaught, like that classic thing of the two bands the same, you're going to draw that same audience. You won't have, the opening up of Tower of Power and all those people coming. You won't have Warlord, because I guarantee you there's a lot of Warlord fans that never even probably heard of Onslaught. And I'm guaranteeing you that there's plenty of Onslaught fans that have never heard of Warlord. Okay, we're not talking about Maiden and, and
sure.
Something, we're talking about, smaller bands and that are older. So I'm hoping that you're going to get a cross going on.
That gives you guys an opportunity to impress an audience you might not
Absolutely. That's the whole big thing about playing a festival too.
Right.
When you play a festival, that's the whole thing. Hey, I'm here for Joe Blow, but I really like that band.
Yeah.
And that's how I have discovered some bands. At the Milwaukee Metal Fest, like, man, who are these guys?
Who the one band that I can honestly say that I discovered, and they opened for Montrose, is way back in the day at Winterland in San Francisco, the Mother's Finest.
Mother's Finest.
I never heard Mother's Finest.
Yeah, I know who they are because I remember they were on that rock and roll. They were on that rock and roll marathon tour with Angel and Mahogany. Was Mahogany Rush on there?
Justin, go back. Very first record it's very interesting. Back in the day, this was in the 70s, and it was kind of half black, half white. They got a chick in there. They sang some stuff that was a little controversial for the time. Right now, they get banned because
Mother's Finest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finest.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if you guys were ever into Cold Blood.
Never heard of it.
You never heard of Cold Blood? Brian, you don't remember Cold Blood?
I know the song by Kicks.
What year?
Blood is all you bleed.
It was Lydia Pence and Cold Blood. They did a song called Down to the Bone. It was in that Sly Stone, Tower of Power.
Okay.
They were a foreign band. They're out of San Francisco. Lydia Pence was the singer. Really good singer. Go listen. You can just pull it up on Spotify. It's Cold Blood.
Yeah. See, that's what I love about Spotify is I can listen to records. Like I can go listen to James Brown's entire discography, you know.
Go listen to a song called Down to the Bone
by Cold Blood.
Yeah. Getting down, and Mother's Finest too. Very like they're kind of heavy bands, but not heavy like we think heavy.
Right.
They're good rock bands, but damn, could they sing? Damn, could they play? And
have you ever heard of Dirty Honey?
No.
Yes.
Those guys, they're almost like a modern type of Aerosmith, like a real raw rock band.
Wait a minute. That's on the internet right now, right? Like
Dirty
you
Honey?
see the clips. Yeah, it's a throwback kind of thing. The bell.
Yeah, kind of. But I remember talking to them. We interviewed them a while back because I saw them live and I was so impressed. It's like you know, they go to those rock shows and it's just like a good vibe and a good dancey fucking But their drummer said that he listens to a lot of funk and soul stuff like James Brown and you know, Kool and the Gang and all that kind of shit. So
didn't they approach their career or whatever, but they weren't seeking out a record label? They just went out there and just started doing it.
Yep. They're fucking awesome, man.
Right around the pandemic, they wanted to know if I would go out to Dallas and cover them at like a small club. And it's like, I guess it's the middle of the week, you know, being an educator, I couldn't.
Sure.
But, you know, I wish I could say that, hey, I saw Dirty Honey in a small club. Yeah. But for some reason, I'm thinking, did they sell I hate to say, but did they play the Forum?
I think so. Well, when I saw them, they didn't play the Forum. I saw them at like, what was the venue? It's like in downtown LA. It's like the Regent or something like that. It was
or Palladium or something.
No, it wasn't the Palladium. It was in downtown, like right next to the this Latino dance club. Because I used to go to this Latino dance club with my Latina girlfriends. Not the Wiltern.
One of those kind of places.
Yeah, it's like the Wiltern's on Wilshire and Western. I know the Wiltern well. One of my favorite venues in LA is the Fonda Theater, to be honest. But this was like what's it fucking called? God damn it! It's like it's on like 4th Street. It's in downtown LA. You know, it's a venue. I saw a lot of bands at. I saw this band, the Bronx, there too.
You're not talking about 1720, are you?
No, not 1720. I know 1720. 1720, I saw Suffocation, like death metal bands and stuff there.
That's where we're playing though. What's that like? I hear
it's pretty. So honestly, I think it's one of the coolest venues in LA, but it's kind of like in a rough part of town, like because it's like under the freeway.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And there's a lot of homeless encampments and shit around there, but it's fine. Like my son, we saw, I took my son and his friends, we went and saw Darkest Hour there, this kind of like underground hardcore band. And then him and his buddies just went there by themselves and saw, I think the Acacia Strain or one of those like kind of more, it's more like hardcore, like death metal type shit, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a cool ass venue. And it's honestly like the sound in there is great. And like the sound system and stuff. I've seen quite a few shows there.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Yeah. What day are you guys playing there? In March or April?
March 24th.
Yeah, there's no way I'd make it.
No.
I was hoping to get down there again in another because I try to go down and see my kids every month or so, a couple months or so. But
yeah, Mark, you're in Dallas a week from Thursday, right?
On the 19th. The schedule's like right over there, so I'm gonna just peek into the schedule.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's a week from Thursday.
Yep, that's supposed to be a screaming gig, no?
The Trees, yeah, Trees has a unique history.
Yeah,
if you've ever heard the tale of Kurt Cobain getting knocked out, that happened at Trees.
Oh, okay.
So what happened was Nirvana was booked into Trees before Nevermind took off.
Okay.
And then the Nevermind album took off, and the club would not release the show and let it get booked into a bigger venue. So it was like jam packed.
Oh, okay.
And their security guard that was trying to, work on stage, keep people at bay, and Cobain hit him with a guitar. Then he got laid out. The security guard laid out Cobain. So look up Nirvana Trees.
Got it.
And you'll see the story about it.
Cool. But
is there video of that? I might have seen that show on YouTube or something.
That was 91. I want to say it was 91. So I don't think there's video because being in Dallas Fort Worth, I'm sure I would have heard by now. Or did you ever see that?
It's like I just saw this video of Kurt Cobain like jumping into the audience with his guitar and he like hit the security guard in the head with it, but the security guard didn't beat him up, so it probably wasn't the same.
So I don't know. I'm gonna have to go take a look at that then.
You can find the thing is. It's crazy what you can find video of on YouTube. Like almost any show that you can think of. If there was someone there with a camera, someone just put it up on YouTube.
They've got it converted by now.
I remember seeing like all of a sudden, and it's horrible quality because it's being filmed in 78, 79, but like Montrose at Winterland or Journey before Steve Perry, at the old Waldorf, like really nasty, grainy.
Yeah.
Like,
right. Bad footage.
Yeah. But someone did it somehow. They did it on a movie camera. I don't know back then. So
I found like because a lot of people too. Like first, I found tons of shows at the Palladium that I went to, like in the early 2000s, that someone was trying. Like the bootleggers were filming them and selling them in the backs of magazines and shit.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, cool. I remember those ads.
Yeah. So we're definitely ready.
Let's wind it down, guys. What else do you want to tell people, Mark? Is there like a place people can find you guys online and shit? And like, what's the best?
I mean, on Facebook, my page obviously, but there's a Warlord page obviously, and all the guys in the band have their stuff, and it's up and out, and obviously, Onslaught's page. But it's easy enough to find the tour dates. Tone Deaf Touring is their site, and online where to get tickets and stuff for the gigs and all that, and. Like I said, we will be, quote, available, and we'll sign everything and all that kind of great stuff. And there it is.
Here's your tour dates, too. This is from warlordband.com is the website, but here's the tour dates.
Yeah.
It starts March.
We're easy to find. I mean, put it this way. If you can't find us online, I'm not sure if you're safe enough to come to the show.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. I like that.
Car. You don't get in a car and drive over.
Yeah.
Please don't.
You guys got stuff. You're booked through, you're going to be, it looks like in the US until the 12th of April. And then you're heading over to Europe in May.
Yeah. There's some stuff that we're doing in Europe, a couple of really cool festivals and, the Metal Lake show, which is really cool. Outdoor venue. We're headlining that one. And, there's other dates that we're playing and it's cool. And a couple festivals. We actually got this one in November. I'm not sure if it made the list yet because it just came up the last couple of days that we're playing right before Riot in this big festival in France.
November 14th, South Troopers Festival.
Yep, that's it. Oh, they made it. Oh, my guys are efficient. They're efficient. Yeah,
it's on the site, man. Your web guys got it.
Yep, and there's Metal Lake Festival. Really, really, really cool people. Really looking forward to that. So, everything's good.
Awesome, man. Well, Mark, thanks for taking the time to chat with us today and everything, man.
Yeah,
it's good.
Definitely
good. Yeah, to hear from you again. Like I said, we kind of have a history, and so does Brian. Like Brian's known you for longer than I have. Surprise!
Oh, years and years. He actually is in the Warlord book. Back in the day, people would write. I'd go over to the PO box, get the little letters, open it up. I would type on my IBM Selectric typewriter that my mom gave me, and I'd cut the pages and post them alphabetically. And I have a whole book of all the people that wrote in back then, and I'd write them back. You know how much postage I spent back then? But I'd write them back with like the classic, I think I was sending back the merch list, like, a merch form to
that's how you got to do it.
I got a funny letter. I got a funny story about a letter, Mark. Okay. So you remember those chain mail letters that you used to get? And so if you don't send this out, you'll have bad luck. You remember that?
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
well, I got one from Mark. Okay, it didn't have a return address, but I knew it was Mark because I could tell by the handwriting and the postmark. And so I just blew it off. 3 days later, my truck got broken into. My speakers were stolen.
I didn't send you one of those.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I got it.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah.
What you're doing that shit. I'm not that.
Yeah, it was like, because it was like, it was just like on a piece of paper, and I could tell by your handwriting because I don't recall that you would type the envelopes that you would. I think you would handwrite the envelopes.
I thought I typed them because
I'll have to go back and look. But when I saw it, I went, oh, that's Mark's handwriting, because it had a postmark from California. From
the Warlord stamper thing,
But this was like a chain letter, so I don't know if you wanted to know that you were sending it out.
I don't know. Okay, I apologize if that was.
I think it's funny.
I apologize. Anytime you guys want to come into the shows, just let me know and I'll take care of it.
Yeah, man.
Send me the thing, text or whatever.
I don't know if Brian's going to be shooting while you're in Texas, but there's a small chance I might be able to make it up to Salt Lake when you guys are up there on the 2nd of April. So we'll see if that's the case. I'll shoot you a message. But
okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I'm definitely planning on being at the tree show. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. I'll get you down. We'll take care of it. I'm trying to make this tour like the tour that I'm going to set a record of having most people on a list.
Well, hopefully it's worthwhile, man.
Yeah, it's all my friends and people I haven't seen forever.
I would love to see you play, man. So hopefully I can make it.
That would be great if you can. Definitely let you know. I definitely can hook you up in Salt Lake City. That
would probably be better than LA.
Between the two bands, I think you have 11 guys. I think only 2 of them are from the States. So how many friends and guests are these people?
Do they have in Salt Lake City?
Yeah, come on.
Well, we'll see. Maybe I can work it, man. Well, thanks again for taking the time, man. And honestly, come talk to us again if you guys are doing anything in the future.
Yes.
The door's always open. Yeah.
Let me know. Thank you.
Sir. We'll see you next time, guys.
Take care.
Take care, everybody.